try and become undisputed. And I think Eddie Reynoso would be up for that as well. I think for Saul, probably would prefer it at 175 because he lost at 175, do you know what I mean? But Bivol is all about the belts. He's all about becoming undisputed. And if he fights Canelo at 168 for undisputed, he could then fight Benavidez at 175 for undisputed, win or lose.
Eddie, what do you make of those comments of Bivol? Obviously, he's always been very respectful, but he made it a point that Canelo's coming up with excuses.
Excuses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think that Canelo's performance against Bivol or Triple G was quite up to his standards. Now, obviously, we know he was carrying an injury, but I don't know. I think that we expect so much from Canelo Alvarez that if he doesn't perform A-star every time, everyone starts wondering what's happening. We have to give credit to Bivol because it was an unbelievable performance. We saw in the Ramirez fight, this guy is a pound for pound great as well, and up at 175, it's very difficult for Saul to compete with those guys, but that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, what's next for Canelo? Obviously, John Ryder's in the mix. Is that?
I think he'll be Ryder. You know, I think I would love to take Saul abroad and fight internationally. You know, he's done Las Vegas so many times. We had a great run through the back of COVID where we went to San Antonio with Callum Smith, we went to Miami with Yildirim, then we went to Dallas with Billy Joe Saunders, then he fought in Vegas against Caleb Plant. Now he's gone Vegas. I'd love to see him fight in London, and I'd also love to see him fight in Mexico.
Yeah. Is that a stadium fight?
Yeah, in London, yeah, for sure. I mean, he would just be huge in London.
Have you spoken to him about fighting in London? And how
yeah, I spoke to Eddie Reynoso and he said, look, let us know the options. You know, London, Mexico, America. I'd like to see him, if he's going to fight in America, personally, I'd like to see it in a stadium. You know, I'd love to see him do the stadium shows. Dallas Cowboys against Billy Joe was unbelievable. You know, even Miami during COVID, we're only allowed 19,000 or something like that in the Hard Rock. That was incredible as well. I'd love to take him to Mexico, but it's, you know, Eddie and Sal, the bosses, will just present the offers and the options, and they'll choose.
Cool, yeah, I will. And
Is that gonna be
if you know, the fight, hopefully David and Caleb happens, do you believe winner of that fight? Because it seems like that seems like a fight that Canelo's kind of holding off on, and I don't think he's necessarily ducking. Do you think whoever wins that fight is should they deserve that fight with Canelo?
Firstly, it's all I have no say. You know, it's all down to Eddie Reynoso and Saul. I don't see any point in a Caleb Plant rematch. He beat him up and he knocked him out after a good start from Caleb Plant. I think the David Benavidez Canelo Alvarez fight is a big fight if he beats Caleb Plant. And you know, I've been very lucky to get to know Canelo. He would never ever duck one fighter. But he also feels like, not that you have to earn your shot, but you know, you can't just fight nobody and get a shot
and expect the fight.
And I think David Benavidez would agree. He's boxed nobody so far at elite level. The Caleb Plant fight is a fantastic fight. That's exactly the kind of fight that should be getting made. If he beats Caleb Plant, I think he can scream from the rooftops for a fight with Canelo Alvarez, and I expect him to get that. Obviously, Canelo's plans this year are maybe John Ryder and DMITRY Bivol, but then after that, a Benavidez fight would be very big.
Who would you like to see Bivol next? Obviously, I would imagine it's going to be a fight in between the Canelo.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got, you know, Benavidez's fighting at the end of January, and then it's Ramadan, so he's probably not going to be around until the end of summer. So Bivol will have to fight before. I'd like him to fight Joshua Buatsi, maybe Callum Smith, another great fight as well. But you know, he'll want to stay busy. He's had a fantastic 2022.
What do you think about Charlo saying he wants to fight him and all that?
When did Charlo last fight? It's like a year and 3 months ago. I don't understand. You know, boxing is so messed up with fighters who are making too much money that don't represent their commercial value. I was guilty of that when we came into America. But these guys would rather not fight. It tells you how much they love the sport and care about their legacy, where really they're just happy to just drive around in Lamborghinis and not really get in a gym. That's why I have so much respect for Canelo, because he actively wants to fight. You know, he could just have a year off if he wanted to and just go on holiday. But he wants to get back in a gym, he wants to fight, and that's what they should be doing. But too many of them are so inactive.
Jaime Munguia raised his hand. He said he was willing to face Bivol if the opportunity presents itself. Jaime Munguia, do you take him serious?
No.
Wow. Why not?
Jaime Munguia. By the way, I like Jaime Munguia, right? And I like Fernando Beltran and these guys. His resume is awful, right? The fights that he's had recently, quite frankly, I don't want to go in too hard because I like the guy and I like the team, but he had an opportunity to fight, to move up and fight Demetrius Andrade when he moved to middleweight? He said no, right? Then he went and fought nobody about 8 times. Then he's just had the opportunity to fight Janibek for the world title, and he said no. Like, I don't know what they are doing with Jaime Munguia. I think he's a good fighter. I think he looks great. I think he could be a superstar, but it is just the worst matchmaking from Golden Boy I've ever seen. And the last guy, that was unbelievable. I mean, it was bad leading up to that, but I don't know what he's doing.
Any update on
of matchmaking? There was a few comments by Bob made the other day. I'm not sure if you had